All right, let me show you real quick how the Smith & Wesson 2.0 45 M&P comes from the toy store. So it comes just like this, wrapped in our oil paper that Smith & Wesson is well known for. So here's the gun. Comes with a chamber flag in it. I'm going to remove that. Pistol comes with 2 magazines. One's inserted and one is next to it in the case. They are 10-round magazines. Also comes with 3 alternate back straps. So basically the palm swell / back strap, I believe medium is what's installed, and you can go to a small, you can go to a large, or you can go to a somewhat in between. It's like a medium large or something. The large and the medium large have a additional beaver tail extension on them. There's your basic delivery method for a new 2.0 M&P in 45. Let's put 100 rounds through it. I'm going to start out with some Sig Sauer Elite Performance 230 grain ball and some 200 grain jacketed hollow point, and we'll go from there. Okay, you guys know I love 45 ACP, and one of my very favorite 45 handguns over the years has been the M&P from Smith & Wesson. M&P 45, I just have loved it for a really long time. But what I didn't love was on my very old copy of the M&P 45 was the really squishy, spongy and gritty trigger. I love the gun in spite of the trigger, but you know, I've always wished it could be better. Yeah, I know I could have dropped in an Apex or I could have done some work on it, but I chose not to. Now, however, the 2.0 M&P is out with 45 ACP. So now that we have the 2.0 M&P 45, that for me, folks, was a gotta have it. So I'm going to put the first 100 through this gun, and I'm starting out with Sig Sauer Elite Performance 230 grain full metal jacket. I am 10 yards from that orange dot. Let's see how I can do right off the bat and right out of the box. Oh man, this thing feels so good. The M&P feel that I love, made even better with this great grip texture. Fantastic trigger. Awesome ergonomics. Wow. All right, well, there was the first 10. Looks like the first 10 are all in the orange. That's a good thing. Gun comes with 2 magazines of 10 rounds each, but I already had some magazines and they are compatible. Thank you very much, Smith & Wesson, for not dicking around with that. Slide stop also functions as a slide release, and I like that a lot. 10 more. Wow, really, really improved trigger. And this grip texture is amazing. I think I like this grip better on the 45 than on the 9mm variants, because it really does help you control the jump. I don't find myself needing to re-grip the pistol. I'm seeing a good size hole developing down there. Magazine number 3. This gun has 3-dot sights. They are not night sights. My older one does have night sights. This one does not. Just 3 white dots. Nice serration on the rear sight. And I like the sight picture. I like the ratio of front sight blade to rear notch. After the third magazine, you start to feel that texture biting into your skin a little bit. But I'll tell you, overall, it is nice because it just helps control. I don't find myself readjusting my grip, which I tend to do a lot with a lot of guns, and I am not having to reposition my, my support hand at all. Things are staying nice and steady. I like it. Good sight picture, just beautiful handling of the recoil. It's just got that smooth roll that I really like about the M&P in 45. Wow, it's just so far a joy to shoot. 30 rounds in. Okay, in the spirit of trying to keep the first 100 videos fairly short and watchable, here's a quick look indoors at the 2.0 M&P 45. Looks a whole lot like the previous version. I'll show you a quick comparison of that in a minute, but basically here are the essential numbers on the gun. It's a 27-ounce pistol with an empty magazine in it. The slide and the barrel are made of stainless steel, and they're coated with an Armor-Nite finish. A very good and very durable finish I've seen over the years. Barrel on this gun is 4.6 inches long. That is the same exact dimension as the previous, and the overall length is 7.9 inches. That should be a little bit shorter because it doesn't have the beaver tail, and I'll show you the difference from the previous generation. The sights, as I had mentioned, on this particular pistol are not night sights. They are just 3-dot white combat sights, but they are steel, and they're very good quality sights. Okay, so I don't like to do a lot of comparing in a first 100, but this one does sort of have to be compared, and that is 2.0 versus the original generation, M&P 45. First one is here, 2.0 of course is up here. They are very, very similar, almost exact in most ways. The 2.0 changes are fairly subtle. All the key numbers and dimensions are the same, but you can see one of the things right off the bat is the initial version had this pronounced beaver tail, polymer, part of the frame. The 2.0 does not, and that carries through all of the 2.0 line. They've basically deleted that extra beaver tail. A quick top-down look, well, let me do it this way, a quick top-down look, and you can see that the slides are identical. Exact same length, exact same width, exact same everything except for just a couple of key internal parts. One thing I did notice, if you take the two slides off and look at them, I'm not going to do that now because it's just a little bit too much detail to go into. The only thing that looks different at all to me is the extractor hook. It looks slightly modified on the 2.0, but that's it. Everything else is same. So the obvious question I can see somebody asking now is, can you interchange the slides? Can you mount one on the other? Probably yes. I haven't tried it. probably you could. I may or may not verify that in a comparison down the road. Now, one thing, I have the 2.0 here behind the original one, and I always liked the front serrations on the M&P 45. I'm not a press check kind of person, and these certainly aren't big enough to really want to run the slide with, but I just liked them aesthetically. I thought they were well placed, and if you wanted to use them, they were very practical. You could definitely press check and rack the slide using those front serrations. The 2.0 has the very abbreviated and, in my opinion, useless serrations like all the other 2.0s. So there's not enough there to get a hold of. I can't get any kind of a grip on that. I am not a fan. I think Smith & Wesson did themselves a disservice when they deleted a very useful serration in favor of one that is just basically completely useless. Like all the other 2.0s, we have an enhanced or modified, redesigned, however you want to say it, slide stop, slide release. I like it better. Not everybody does, I know that, but I like it better. It is ambidextrous, just as it was in the past. The big difference really is the grip on the polymer, which is, in my opinion, an enhanced and improved grip. Not everybody will like that. Some people will like the smoother grip. I like the more aggressive texture. But the big news is really the trigger. Trigger is much nicer. It's a lighter and crisper trigger brake, and it is a more tactile reset. Quite a bit of the sponginess is gone, and quite a bit of the grittiness is gone compared to the previous version. So I'm going to do one quick thing for you. I'm going to measure these two triggers just so we can put numbers to it. Okay, I'm going to start out with Gen 1. And I'm going to try and use the lower portion. Let me show you where I'm hooking on here. I'm going to use the below the center point, below the articulation on the trigger. I'll try and be consistent with both guns. 7 pounds, 4 ounces. So now 2.0. Same spot. £6 pounds, 1 ounce. So, over a pound lighter. And you can really feel the difference. Okay, let's try now a magazine of Sig Sauer V-Crown Sig Elite Performance 200 grain jacketed hollow point V-Crown ammo. Same distance, same everything. I did call Target Medic, got a new dot put there. So let's see how this does. Nice. That is some serious home defense or self-defense ammo. And it's accurate at 10 yards, that's for sure. All right, let's keep going back to the ball ammo. Let's see how the gun loads with the slide forward and a full magazine. Man, pretty nice. Sometimes that's really hard. You got to beat it in there hard or it'll fall back out. But the M&P loads up pretty nice. Not too bad. I will say that 10th round in these magazines is a tight round. If you're not using a Maglula type mag loader or something, because even with that, it's tight. So if you're just using the old thumb, you might be in for a long day. Been a long day here. I've been at the range about 8 hours. Started early this morning with getting ready for an IDPA match. Then shot the match. So my eyes are a bit fatigued. I would move further back, but I don't think I'd be able to see. And I would do the gun an injustice. So I think 10 yards is about all I can handle right now. Very, very nice. I can see that big hole opening up again, kind of in the same spot. If you like 45 ACP and you have never tried the M&P 45, I think you really owe it to yourself, especially now with the 2.0. 14 round extended magazine. Has a nice sleeve on it. That sleeve is made for the old grip on the old style M&P. So this is an older style magazine, but of course it is the same and fully compatible, and now 14 rounds. Although I think I only have 11 or 12 in there. It's just so easy to keep these sights on my target. It's just a very good sight picture. Trigger is very nice. I'm not going to pretend it's the nicest trigger in the world, because you'd know I was lying. But it is a very good trigger. Much improved over the previous M&P 45. And the ergonomics just have gotten only better over time. I like the 2.0, I'm a fan, you know that, but what it brings to the 45 I think is even more enhanced than the differences we saw with the 9mm. Bigger caliber, bigger recoil, higher pressures, just make you sort of appreciate the changes they made, I think, a little better. I like the size of the back strap that they selected as the one to put in the gun in the factory. Probably going to leave it alone. Might try the small one at some point, but probably going to leave this medium one in there for the foreseeable future. It feels quite good. And I'm getting rained on by a little bit of an unexpected shower. So I put my big cameras away for the moment. Just going to use the GoPro and run a couple mags. Hopefully it'll dry out and we can get the cameras back. somebody was looking for their first full-sized 45 ACP handgun, and they were asking my opinion about what they should get, and maybe if it was anything but a 1911, I would have a hard time, very hard time, not recommending this 2.0 M&P 45. Okay, one more quick comparison I will make between the 1.0 and the 2.0, where I like the 1.0 better, and that is right here. See the way the extractor is contoured, matching the contour in the slide. Just really nicely fit. You can tell that that's a good design. There was some consistency and some continuity of engineering there. You can see that line carries through. This is the old version, the 1.0, which of course was not called a 1.0. And now here's the 2.0. Looks like it's using the exact same extractor, but they've modified the slide, but they didn't change the extractor. So now that nice fit that they had previously is no longer a nice fit. It looks kind of stupid. So details count, guys, and you missed it on this one. So you lose points here. Wrapping up the first 100 range work with the M&P 2.0 45. Is it everything I expected it to be? Yes, it is. It is everything I expected it to be, and my expectations were high because I have loved the M&P 45 for years. Just wanted it to be a better trigger, and I love this new ergonomic grip. I like the additional stiffness of the front. I like everything about the 2.0. M&P 2.0 45, or M&P 45 2.0, however you want to say it. This is the real deal. This is an all day at the range, having fun, shooting it up, shooting the match, defending your home, defending yourself, whatever you want to use it for. Certainly a duty gun if you are in the professional field and you are carrying a sidearm and you have any choice in the matter. This is definitely one you might want to think about. I can't think of anything this wouldn't excel at, except for maybe concealed carry. Just because it's so big. Man, it is nice to shoot. All right. Absolutely, absolutely loving the 45 2.0 M&P from Smith & Wesson. This one is destined to be a favorite, and that means you're going to see it again. I'm going to do some comparisons. Perhaps a nice slugfest is long overdue. What should I compare it to first? I don't know.